UPP faults proposed bill to establish independent electoral body for local government areas. And later on the show, NDLEA seizes cocaine, loud consignments hidden in incense candles and lady swears. I will be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akinpelu. Journalist Hangout starts now. A popular slogan in Nigeria, "The rich also cry," indicates that nobody is above trouble or challenges. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, appears to be facing the biggest battle of his business life. The federal government, through the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, has requested fresh reports to confirm the real sulfur content of the diesel produced by Dangote Refinery after the company debunked claims of inferior fuel production. The spokesman of the agency, George Eneita, said they have about 15 engineers and scientists embedded in the Dangote Refinery, whose fresh report about the refinery's sulfur content will be out soon. But Dangote challenged the regulator to compare the quality of refined products from his refinery with those imported. And he has now made an offer to sell the Dangote Refinery to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited in order to address allegations of monopoly in the industry. And he stated that if the NNPCL takes over the refinery, the allegations of monopoly would no longer be valid. BKO, let's get your thoughts on this matter, because when the Dangote Refinery was commissioned early this year, one was thinking perhaps we will stop buying petrol for high amounts. But with this back and forth between the federal government and the Dangote Refinery, one is beginning to ask, where did all this get? Where did this all go wrong?
I think first and foremost, it is clear that this is a fight back. Mr. Edwin, an expatriate, high-ranking Dangote Refinery, who had worked with Alhaji Dangote for about 33 years, came out to say dirty diesel was being imported into our country. The statement made by the NMDPRA boss, Farouk, is, in my view, their own way of fighting back. But it's an important fight back, because Nigerians stand with Dangote in this matter.
Fighting back
Nigerians,
to what now exactly?
They are the regulators. If dirty diesel is brought into our country, they are the ones who permitted it, because they are supposed to uphold high standards. So in making that allegation, he was putting those people on the spot. You get my point? So they felt that, oh, so this guy is trying to throw us under the bus, and they decided that, okay, let us see where this takes him. Dangote said something that they are more powerful than we are. So it's like they are bearing their fangs. They are trying to show that, okay, you people are saying whatever comes to your mouth, Sabi, we can actually embarrass you. Because when you say you've not issued a license to someone and it's been producing for months, there is a friend of mine who apparently saw a piece of fake news and was disturbing me that I told you that Dangote is not ready. I told you Dangote has not started producing. I said, but the airlines are already buying Jet A1 from him. People are buying diesel already from him. What are you talking about? I am based here in Nigeria and I have information. Today, the man that you said you've not issued license to is exporting aviation fuel to Asian countries, to the US. is exporting diesel to different countries. They are getting orders to produce diesel for them. So how come somebody is not licensed and is already operating on such a big scale? Is operating internationally, is operating within our country. It is public knowledge that airlines are buying aviation fuel from Dangote. So what are we talking about? It's clear that there is a desire to fight the man because of what Edward, his staff, said. He said, okay, you want to show that we don't know what we are doing. But there is a record to this. In this same country, the regulator permitted contaminated PMS to be brought into our country. So if Edwin made an allegation, it's an allegation that has a parallel in history. It's happened before. We can't put it beyond them. Now you said, okay, Dangote's refinery, that the product from his refinery, the diesel, is inferior to international, to the ones imported into our country. To open your mouth and say that is not just a disservice to your country, but it's a disservice to the office that you hold. Because Nigerians can see clearly that these people do not want importation of petroleum products to stop.
Stop. That's the key.
They do not want it. And the same double-mouthed people at NNPC, or let me add the L that they've added, because that is the only thing that has changed about such an opaque and irresponsible Nigerian company. These same people told us, I think Mele Kyari, a man who has acquired a reputation for misleading his country, telling his country, we are going to start, Port Harcourt Refinery will start production April. They started that merry-go-round since December. He announced in April. It didn't happen. That in itself has all kinds of ramifications in terms of the integrity of our country and in terms of the integrity and credibility of the people who run that sector. But Mele Kyari is not bothered about what in future, when they mention his name, what will come to people's minds. Now, Mele Kyari said Nigeria will become a net exporter of refined crude oil, petroleum products. He said that importation, I remember even before Buhari left office, Mele Kyari told us that importation of PMS will stop this year.
Yes.
He told us people can go to Google,
dig out the facts,
and dig out this.
He said we will even be exporter of petroleum
yes,
products.
It will be net. The same people said that to show you how dishonest they are busy issuing licenses to people
to
import. If you want to focus on local refining, why are you indiscriminately issuing licenses to people to go and bring in product? Don't you know that when you do that, you are helping to boost the economy of foreign countries to the detriment of your own economy? If Nigeria today can produce 2.5 million barrels of crude oil, and it is possible, it only takes extreme determination on the part of government. Because even during Jonathan's era, Jonathan knew that they used to abuse, that he's a wimp, he does not know what he's doing. We were doing about 2 million barrels. I still recall.
Yeah.
So if we can do 2.5 million barrels a day, and our refineries can produce both for domestic consumption and for export, I'm telling you, the Naira will appreciate rapidly, because you will earn enough foreign exchange or sufficient or substantial foreign, let me not say sufficient.
Right.
You earn substantial foreign exchange that will help us address that illiquidity in the foreign exchange market. But the enemies of Nigeria, who are feasting on our country like a run of locusts, they do not want importation of PMS to stop. So this is the problem. You talk about, the refinery, their products, the diesel is bad, without Dangote knowing that the Speaker of the House of Reps and his team were going to conduct
an assessment,
a test.
Okay.
They stopped along the way to the refinery, got samples from 2 filling stations. I'm not going to mention the names of those filling stations, but one of them, the name starts with M. They got samples from there. They got from Dangote diesel, and they conducted a test right there in people's presence. And the Dangote refinery clearly was much better than the other samples that they got. So if these people are saying that, now look at what the spokesman is saying. He said, when it was now challenged that they've done tests. This man's products are better than the imported ones. He now said a lot might have changed within a period of 5 days. Between that time and now, like 5 days. So 650 ppm or 550 ppm can come down to whatever.
So this is from who now? The NNPCL?
From the spokesperson of the NNPCL. Because they've seen the result of that test, that impromptu test that was conducted. You can say all kinds of things about Dangote, but anyone who has visited that refinery knows that it is a pride of our country. And I feel for him that he's going through all this. Because if we can, our forest consumption, 1/3 of it goes simply to importing PMS. 1/3 of our entire forex needs goes to importing PMS. If we are to stop importing PMS, you can imagine how much we'll be able to save by way of foreign exchange.
Absolutely.
But the people who simply want to make money, who do not want the importation regime to end, they are going to fight Dangote. They are going to fight him.
This is really, pathetic, Mayor, because we thought perhaps this would have been the best thing that would happen in Nigeria. And now Aliko is saying he's willing to sell Dangote Refinery to NNPCL to,
let me start by saying that Aliko Dangote should not even think about selling the refinery to NNPCL. Because they are proving over time that they cannot run refineries. We have 4 refineries controlled by NNPCL. They have spent trillions of dollars, not billions, trillions of dollars doing turnaround maintenance and paying salaries of workers that have been working there without 1 liter of fuel. They still have the full complement of staff collecting salaries and allowances without 1 fuel. During the time of Obasanjo sold Port Harcourt Refinery to a company owned by Dangote and Otedola. When Yar'Adua came in, they went to blackmail Yar'Adua to say how can they sell petrol, the Port Harcourt Refinery, a national asset, to individuals, which should do that. That sale was revoked. Since that time till now, Port Harcourt Refinery has not worked. They kept telling us they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I want to appeal to the president to stop the cabal in NNPCL. We have to look at the larger interests of Nigeria. What they are doing, because what is going on there is a big scam. They collect billions of dollars saying that they want to do turnaround maintenance when they know that they don't want those refineries to work. For them to continue to do the scam they are doing, importing fuel, that must stop. Already, they are saying that they will spend trillions for subsidy. That is what they want to stop, because they know that if Dangote Refinery works on stream at full capacity, there won't be a need to import fuel. Instead, we'll be exporting petroleum products. They know that. And because the last government took special interest in that refinery, They could not do a lot of things. They kept their time waiting. That we are going to see how you are going to operate. Because they know that if it doesn't operate it's a 650,000 capacity per day.
Yeah.
So they know that if it was at maximum capacity, the game will end.
Yes.
The money they are making will stop. And that is why they are doing that. I listened to the spokesperson of the agency saying that, we are a regulator, we don't demarket. When you say that the sulfur content of Dangote's diesel is higher than that of imported, that is the marketing.
It's the marketing.
That is straight the marketing. What you are saying is that if you want to buy diesel, don't buy Dangote diesel because of its high sulfur content and buy the imported one. That is irresponsible. That's number one. Two, it is important for the president to know that a lot of things in our economy rest on that Dangote refinery.
Yes.
Because we need to stop a situation where we spend majority of our foreign exchange importing fuel. It can work. It can work. We know that. Everybody knows that. They said the things about Dangote. Dangote said, okay, because it's frustrated. He said, they say it's a monopoly and all that and that, and he wants to sell and all that. I'm not saying that Dangote is a saint. No. But we should give that man his flowers. There are a lot of rich people in this country who put their money in stocks. There are a lot of rich people in this country who put their money in accounts abroad.
Yes.
They don't believe in investing in Nigeria. Somebody put over $20 billion
yes,
to invest in a project. And instead of us to appreciate that, we are frustrating him. $20 billion can ruin him as a rich man.
So what do you think the government should do at this point? Now
what government should do is to break that cabal in NNPCL.
How do you think the government can do that?
They can do that by giving Dangote Refinery all the support that they need for them to be able to operate. Because, you see, right now, I agree that because of the problem that has to do with production, we don't have enough crude to give to Dangote. Fine. But Dangote can buy crude. Right now, before, he was buying crude from Brazil and America. Now they want to buy from Libya and Angola.
Senegal.
Yes. Let them allow him to buy the crude. The ones that they can give him, they will give him that. The ones that he needs to buy from abroad, he will buy that. But what is important is for him to operate that refinery at maximum capacity. When we do that, even if it is the same price that we are paying now for petroleum products, that's the price we are paying. If he's giving us that, we will not need to spend this scarce foreign exchange to import fuel. And when you do that, all of us should be embarrassed what our currency has become. 1,550 is ridiculous. I just came back from Doha and Saudi Arabia. All of them is 3.7, 3.4 to $1. Ours is 1,550. And that will affect so many things. Everybody is complaining that things are difficult. That is part of it.
Yes.
So it is important for us to know that this guy, whatever business, whatever he has done in cement, does not matter. In this refinery, it's a different ballgame. This country, our economy, needs Dangote Refinery. So what they are doing to him is not right.
Right. BKO, your final thoughts on this before we move to our next issue of discussion.
Well, we may as well even talk about this for the rest of the program, because it's something that bothers us as a country. Today, just as the mayor said, Nigeria needs that refinery to work. Since the people saddled with the task of maintaining our 4 refineries have spectacularly failed, Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, said what a whole country could not do, you have done it when he visited the refinery. The sheer size of the refinery, as I said yesterday, is 7 times the size of Victoria Island.
Yeah.
The fertilizer blending plant alone sits on 500 hectares. Some of the images that you saw, this is the port. He built a port. This is inside the fertilizer blending plant. You can see the granulated fertilizer. You know, I recorded this with my phone. This is part of the fertilizer plant. This is not refinery. It's the fertilizer plant area. All this one is not part of the refinery. It's the fertilizer. The biggest fertilizer plant in Africa. Why are we like this? A man sets out to help, and this is the crude oil testing laboratory. There's nothing like this in this part of the world.
This also raises the question of...
Let us,
even the agency didn't have something like that.
or what do they call themselves now? They don't have facility like this for testing crude oil. And it has for gas as well. They don't have it. They should take Nigerians to their own. Let us see their own. So why won't people bring in dirty fuel into our country? Why? A lot of the people, they collect fake certification and they just bring in this thing. The only way to determine whether the fuel is clean is when you go to the end users directly. You go to a filling station, you get your samples. We have killed many businesses in our country with policy flip-flops.
Yeah, that's what I want.
This is not a man that they should allow his refinery to die. Inside that refinery, because I was there, I spent about 11 hours inside the refinery because it's such a massive place. Inside, we didn't have breakfast until around 6 p.m. To tell you how big the place is. You know?
Yeah,
now,
and in terms of
his own staff alone,
right.
His own staff alone, there are 50,000 rooms for staff. Look at the quantum, the level of investment. And you want to deny him access to crude.
You want to frustrate it.
We are watching IOCs, what they can't do in their own country. They are coming to Nigeria to say they are going to sell crude oil at $6 above the international price. Is it not a matter of shame to us as a country that Nigeria, the 7th biggest crude oil producer in the world, cannot supply this refinery? And when he does his best, he gets product from abroad to refine, you will now say his crude oil is dirty. Now the tests have come, you are saying, oh, anything can change within 5 days. I mean, government should not permit this nonsense to continue. If this refinery works, it is to the glory of our country.
Absolutely.
And NNPCL, they bought 7.2% stake. They said they wanted to buy 20%. But they couldn't buy 20%.
But they put it
deadline.
in their audited report that they paid for 20%.
Because before the
There's
deadline...
a scam in that place doing what they like.
No, part of what has embarrassed them is the fact that they said they didn't pay the full money.
Yes, that they didn't
because
pay.
there's usually a time given, a time ceiling. Before that time ceiling expired, you only paid for 7.2% stake. So
and they said they changed because of their policy and their organization, they decided to pay.
Even if it is 1% stake, Nigeria as a country has taken that refinery.
Yes. They did that on behalf of us.
So sensible people know that it is in our best interest for that refinery to work.
Right.
So you are calling him a monopolist. How about you that you have 4 refineries?
And could not do anything with it?
If you can get your refineries to work, who is Dangote, for God's sake?
There won't be any monopoly if there are other oil refineries working.
That means you have made up your mind that those your refineries will not.
They don't want it to work.
You want to import. You are issuing fresh licenses. Who does that now?
Well, we can
government should even ban. We should ban the importation.
Why should we import when we can refine it?
Yes. On with this conversation, but we need to go on a very quick break. Perhaps we can give it about 5 minutes when we return from this short break. To stay with Journalist Hangout, we have more in just a moment.
Old soldier never dies. What is the matter with old soldier?
This pensioner's verification will finally kill old soldier. Eh? See his condition. Just imagine the stress from the last verification.
You have not heard about the pensioner's verification application. Eh? No hassles. My daughter did for me from her smartphone.
Eh?
So simple. All you need is your national identification number. Or driver's license, that's all.
Go to the Google Play Store for Android phone users or App Store for iPhone users on your mobile device and search for Military Pensions Board. Download the application named MPB Verification and follow the instructions for your verification with the Military Pensions Board in 7 easy steps.
Old soldier never dies. No retreat, no surrender.
Home quality, wires and cables. Home and Campbell, light up your life. Home and want to light up your household. Home and want to give you better. Home and extraordinary wire. Home and cables, home and wires. Home and quality, home and durable, home and capable. Home and cables, home and wires. Home and quality, home and durable, home and capable. Everybody, come and see. Home and wires, one in the things. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Home and wires, home and cables, home and quality, home and durable, home and capable. Home and wires, home and cables, home and quality, home and durable, home and capable.
Coleman Wires and Cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
Yes, we're still discussing the very crucial topic regarding the Dangote Refinery and the federal government's quite heated here, I would say, in the studio. But Mayor, let's have your perspective on this. I know we're talking about the ease of doing business. This is more or less affecting Dangote. Now, what kind of policies should be in place to ensure that Dangote Refinery really kicks off?
Thank you very much for that question. The president of this country has gone to several countries to meet with investors in those countries. I remember when he met with some Indian businessmen, and he told them, he went with his ministers, and he said, if you have any problem, get in touch with me. I will solve that problem. If we spend energy, if the president of the country can appreciate foreign investment, and he will now go to them and market his country to them to say, come and do business in my country. If you have any problem, get in touch with me. The minister is there. You guys should go and work it out and all that. If you tell them to come and invest money, and somebody who is your citizen invested over $20 billion and you are frustrating him, why should I bring my money to come and invest in your country?
Yes.
You see, one of the ease of business is that government is a continuum. If there are policies, you don't come around and do flip-flop and try to frustrate the person doing that. Especially the quantum of what we are talking about. Like I said, this man could put this kind of investment in stocks, and he will be chairman of several companies. Right. He can put that thing in foreign exchange, in foreign company, and be enjoying himself all over the place. Dangote is in his late 60s. You understand what I'm saying?
He's 67.
67. In 3 years, he will be 70. What's he looking for? So the investment is not even for him or his kids.
Yes.
It's for the country. Because the quantum of investment, over $20 billion, we have to give the man his flowers. And when they want to criticize him, they will say, oh, he's doing monopoly. Yeah. Did he ask anybody not to come into that business? He did not ask people not to come into the business. Because we have seen that those who are running refineries in this country have shown that they are incompetent. And because of greed and the money they are making, they've turned it to one big scam. And they will not be able to do. I told you now that they sold Obasanjo, imagine Obasanjo's time. But that called refinery. They said, no. You can't say your national asset. Okay, Yaradua rescinded that decision. Till today, they will not be able to put 1 single liter of oil. Yeah. And they are paying salaries. They are doing every time they do turnaround maintenance.
There was a year that Kaduna Refinery refined just 50 million liters of PMS. That is not even up to our consumption for 1 day. And we have people there, they are taking salaries every time. Allowance. Not the kind of salaries that you and I take. They are
when you want to sell anything, they will say we are going to strike if you sell this thing. We are not going to agree.
Did they not sell some national assets and they are doing well now? Benue Cement Company was sold to Dangote now. They sold it to him. And some other cement companies like that.
Oh, definitely. National oil that was
Yes.
It became coin oil, and they are doing very well.
They are doing well.
They could not even.
What are we talking
maintain
about?
their
National asset. They should not sell national asset. The point is,
Right.
we should be ashamed as a country that we are such a big oil producer. All of the money that people made from the Ukraine war, Saudi, they made a lot of money.
So much money.
Petrobras
Even
made
Russia.
a lot of money. Everybody made money. Nigeria did not make money. Because rather than produce, we are simply, you go to a country like Saudi Arabia, they have refineries for export, dedicated to export. They are the biggest player in the industry. They have refineries for local production. They are very organized. Can't we aspire to be like that? At independence, we were even better rated than Saudi Arabia.
A company run by state. It's a state-owned company.
Yes. So we can't even produce crude oil for the biggest refinery in Africa.
Now, some
we
have
can't
said,
produce.
let me quickly bring it in. Some have said that perhaps the NNPCL chairman should have been removed from his chair because of the last time when Nigeria imported dirty fuel. That was 2 years ago, and then it affected vehicles and stuff like that.
I don't know
Do
whether
you
it
think
was the
perhaps
one there at that time.
It may not be the one.
It might not have been the one that was there at that time. You know, a lot of things have changed. But that's to tell you the rot in the system. They brought in dirty fuel. Somebody's duty was to check.
Contaminated. Not only contaminated.
Contaminated.
That was
and they damage
everywhere.
people's engines.
Yes.
You know? When people bring in dirty diesel and the rest of them, it has health implications. It can cause cancer. So we do not have the right regulatory framework to ensure that only the best is sent to our country. We do not have it. But when you see that the Dangote, the lab, that testing laboratory for testing crude, look at what is there, for God's sake. Look at some of the videos that I did. They are what is it called? Control room. You won't believe it. The level of investment. I said there are more than 50 bridges, concrete bridges within that complex. And for the first time, I saw a storage tank that can take 1,200,000 liters of petroleum product. When you see the video, it doesn't tell the story because it's so massive. But when you see the drone shot, it looks small.
Very small.
1.2 million liters. And it has enough storage capacity to accommodate all our fuel consumption for 28 days. It's not small investment. That look at those tanks. Look at them. You know? It's not small investment. This is a man that needs to be encouraged.
Encouraged, yeah.
And we are trying to crush him. And some people are now saying, look at this. See, some of those buildings, some of those equipment are as high as a 40-story building. Yeah, that
People are saying, oh, good for him. Government has always been giving him concessions. They've always been doing this. They've always been doing that.
So,
they are not looking at the bigger picture.
No, let others do what he's doing.
Some of them have gone. So there are people. He said something. He said there are probably some people who have more this thing than him, more cash than him. But they've gone to Dubai to buy houses.
Yes.
They've invested their stolen money in Dubai, buying houses. Some of them have kept money in those offshore accounts. When they die, it is those foreigners that will enjoy the money. Because these are thieves who do not even...
Let everybody do the kind of thing he's doing. It will be better for it.
Yes.
Imagine that kind of investment, Dangote Refinery. Imagine 4 or 5 investments like that. He's not the only rich man in Nigeria.
He's already has cement company in 10 African countries.
Well, let's leave this conversation for another time because, you know, it is quite a touchy one, I would say. Quite intense we've had over this few minutes we've discussed this. Now, rather than laying the ghost of the call for local government autonomy to rest, the Supreme Court's judgment on the matter is raising more issues, and one of these is the conduct of council elections. The coalition of united political parties has cautioned against a bill seeking establishment of the National Independent Local Government Electoral Commission, which is before the National Assembly. And according to the group, the bill will lead to erosion of the principles of constitutional federalism that the country is operating if finally passed into law. Their spokesperson, Mark Adebayo, noted that the bill aligns with the call to remove local government from the grips of state governors, making council elections a federal government affair is absolutely unhealthy for federalism. The bill, titled Local Government Independent Electoral Commission Bill 2024, which has scaled first reading in the Senate and sponsored by Chairman of the Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, is seeking establishment of the body that will be saddled with the responsibility of conducting elections for 774 local government areas in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Mayor, when the Supreme Court gave the verdict that the local government is autonomous, everyone was happy, but except for some governors, they felt that their control has been taken out and it's not good for federalism. If you are going to give true federal character, it should apply in all ramifications. But first off, what are your thoughts on the concerns that the federal government might usurp the local government if this local government elections, or commissions rather, electoral commission is created?
I don't agree with an electoral commission for local governments, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
I agree absolutely that the local government should collect their funds directly from the federal account, because we've seen that a lot of governors just collect the money and just give them something. And then our local government not doing what they're supposed to be, the government that has the people,
right,
and they're supposed to be able to see the needs of the people and all that. But they don't have enough funds to do that because there are some governors. In some states, they don't have that kind of problem, like Lagos. They don't have that kind of problem. But in a lot of states, the governors will just take the money and just give them party sum. So I agree absolutely with the Supreme Court judgment that the funds should go directly to local government. But why I don't agree with the bill, with an agency conducting elections in local government is that it's either we are a federation or we are not. You understand? It's either we are a federation or we are not. So each state, as independent government of their own in the federation, should be able to organize election within their purview, within their area of influence. You understand? By allowing the federal government to determine that, then we are no longer party federalism but a unitary system. Because the federal government should not determine what should be done in my state. There's an electoral body that will do federal elections. Let that electoral body stick to that federal election. Because we are going to, if you look at, if you want, we will say we are party federalism, we are doing presidential system of government. The America that introduced the presidential system of government, every election there is localized. Every election is localized. So you cannot ask the federal government to come and conduct election in my state. That, to me, is not right. So the funding is different. The funding is different because let the money go through to the local government so that they can, because they are entitled, that is what the law says, that they are entitled to that money. And the Supreme Court has confirmed that. I don't have any problem with that. But I have problem with the federal agency organizing election in the state. I agree that the election in the state is more or less a sham. You understand? Because when the ruling party in that state, because they are the one conducting the election, they will just win all the states. You understand? I understand that. But we cannot throw the baby with the bathwater. We cannot say that, because there is a problem in the way it is organized, then let's come and take over and do that for you. I don't think that's federalism. That's my position.
BK, what's your position on this? Do you agree with me?
I'm tired of states organizing sham local government elections. Most times there's no election, they just simply write the figures. They write the figures. It is not easy to write figures in an INEC conducted election. Not even now. It's a lot more difficult now. That's why politicians have now found a way to bribe their way to victory. Focus is now on vote buying because they know that the capacity to rig has gone down with the advent of card reader and what's this one called? So Beavers. I would support INEC organizing local government elections. In fact, there is a lot of demand for that from people who are frustrated about the fact that governors simply put their own people there and write the figures. I was reading what one of the big politicians in Rivers State was saying, that during Rotimi Amechi's time that he was in his office when they wrote the figures. So this is what they do.
Okay.
I do not support setting up a separate electoral body simply for local government elections. Okay. I believe that INEC can be further empowered to conduct those elections, and those elections don't have to be conducted during the time of our general elections. You get the point that I'm making? Mm-hmm. Because if you conduct local government elections during the general election, it will become so difficult for INEC to cope. But during the off-season, INEC can conduct local government elections. In any case, those local government elections don't terminate, their tenures don't even terminate at the same time. And so, Oshomole was the first person to really shout about the need to stop the nonsense called local government elections, because they simply write figures. And he's been a governor before, at least he knows a lot about these things. So I support having credible elections at that local level. And I believe that the big step to having credible elections at local government level is to get INEC involved. People will say, it's a lot of work. But my suggestion is, it shouldn't be at the time when they are doing those local government elections. I mean, doing general election. After the general election, you have a freedom, or you have a space of 4 years to play with, except for by-elections and all that. INEC won't be busy until 4 years. Whereas in America, they do elections, they do midterm elections, they do general election as well, and elections at county level. So I believe that the whole idea is they want credibility in terms of the local government election. I support the idea, but setting up an agency purely to conduct election for local governments and creating fresh bureaucracy as a result is not what I will support. This is a bill, it's still a bill. I believe that the president should not give assent to this kind of bill. The president can strengthen the INEC, expand the frontiers of INEC, strengthen it in terms of capacity, in terms of manpower, to be able to conduct local government elections. We can't continue with the nonsense that governors are doing. Just sit down, just write people's names, and you call that an election. People have given up. You see that most parties, opposition parties, say, no, we are not interested. They always boycott the local government elections because they know that the outcome is usually predetermined. So let's move away from that ugly era and have an era of credible elections at local government level, especially now that they have their financial autonomy.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't simply be just governors writing, no. Let's have credible elections, and I support INEC to conduct the elections.
Yeah, and in terms of being strengthen the electoral institutions now, talking about INEC, what would you propose as a strategy that the federal government needs to adopt? Because these electoral institution, talking of INEC, will still be under the purview perhaps of the state, of the federal government. But what do you think can be done to strengthen the institution of INEC so that we can have...
No, INEC as presently constituted I think is okay. They more or less have their autonomy. They decide a lot of things. Apart from laws that members of National Assembly, maybe electoral laws that National Assembly, they have their modus operandi is determined by them, by the agency. So I think they are strong enough, provided what we just need to do is retraining of their staff, trying to invest more in technology, so that because we've seen that Beavers has been able to change like a game changer. So when they invest in things like that, the only thing is the funding to INEC. if they have proper funding and training of their staff, invest more in technology, I think they are okay the way they are. That's what I think. That they are okay the way they are.
But they have issues of credibility whenever the elections are being conducted. So that is always
no. But if you look at it, they've done reasonably well. It's just that politicians will always complain. Yes. Politicians will always complain, and it's these same politicians, because what do you expect from them? They'll be able to introduce technology so that to make it difficult for people to be able to rig elections. But we have to agree that we have moved beyond what we used to do. What we used to do, people don't vote. After people finish voting, some people will sit down and write results. Yes. That's what they do. Now you have to now go to the field and try to win election. So it's a step forward. I'm not saying they're perfect, but most of the stories we hear about them is sour grapes. So if a politician loses an election, they will complain, yes.
All right, I understand we have a call. Al-Hassan, please quickly go ahead with your contribution.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Babajide, sorry, I'm taking you a little bit back because my contribution is actually on Dangote Refinery. Nigerians should know that Dangote and take Dangote as a pride of Nigeria to the world. So whatever it is that Dangote needs is what Nigeria or Nigerians should give it. Anybody becoming careless the way Farouk became careless, I think there should be consequences for such action. That is on Dangote Refinery. On the COP asking for polls to the state. But my own thinking to this, my own opinion is the EFCC should increase its operational staff. Chairmen of local government do not have immunity, so will not wait for 2 or 4 years before they are arrested. Every local government, EFCC should have a staff that looks into the books of every local government at least quarterly. Ask them questions. These monies have come into your account. What did you do with it? They can arrest them. They don't have immunity. I think that is where, if they do it once, if the governor is colluding with the chairman to spend the money, if they do it once, lock him up, take him to court, the governors will be calling chairmen to come and contest, and they won't, unless we get it right. Once they do once, twice, EFCC should be on top of its game on our local government funding. Ask them questions quarterly, 2 months or 3 months. Give account of monies you have spent in the last 3 months. If the governor says you should take it back to him, give us evidence that you've taken back the monies to the government. When we do this, within 3 quarters, we'll get it right. Thank you so much, Babajide.
Thank you so much, Al-Hassan, for your contribution. Babajide, we know we just heard he's more passionate about the things that happens in our country, Nigeria, and he's also touched on what the government needs to do to ensure transparency in our local government. But what's your position with what he just added on this very?
Yes, I agree, because once funding to local governments improve, because governors are a big impediment to proper funding of local governments. They will not admit it, but in their hearts, a lot of them know that they've been spending local government funds. I know former governors who were put on trial and were investigated on account of that. And this council chairman cannot even argue with them. You can't look at a governor in the face and say, why have you touched
will remove you now.
My money? He will suspend you.
And
the Supreme Court has said you have no power to remove a local government chairman elected by the people. They tell these governors, but they still use the power. They believe, okay, before you go to court, time will have gone, they will have taught you a lesson. So now that there will be improved funding, we expect to see a lot more work being done by this council chairman. A lot more projects, big projects, big signature projects being embarked upon by them, because some of them earn a lot. The big local government, they earn a lot of money.
And more transparency too.
So, yes, of course, there has to be transparency, and this is not an opportunity for them to simply believe that, okay, they have arrived and not work for the people. If we get governance right at local government level, frankly, more Nigerians will be touched. It will have great impact on the ordinary Nigerian. All of these palliatives that we are talking about, all of these inner city roads, these are things that local governments can do.
Yes.
Local governments can do it. I saw Chidi Lloyd as local government chairman of Emohua in Rivers State. I saw roads that he completed. And I saw other projects. the doctors' quarters that he built. That's a local government. But when you look around, it's difficult to even see local government chairmen doing any significant projects. Most of the time, governors claim that, we sit with local governments, we agree on a project that we will jointly fund. Come on. Take your money, let them take their own.
Right.
So now, the NGOs should know that it is their duty to ensure transparency at that tier of government. They should put more eyes now on local governments. Once they begin to conduct their elections and they begin to receive money directly from the federation account. In fact, I learned that they are going to enroll this local government chairman on TSA now, so that they can get their money direct from the federation account, because in the past, finance commissioners of states
collect on behalf
were collecting all the money on behalf of state government. So things will improve, but we just have to take things
one step at a time. So, Mayor, final thoughts on this issue, because we're really going to...
Yes, I agree with the guy. Because the rot in local government is terrible. A lot of them don't do anything. They just collect the money and enjoy themselves in some part of the country. So it's important for us to look at them properly. They don't have immunity like governors. So EFCC should put a searchlight on them. If they know that they will pay, there are consequences for not doing what they are supposed to do for the people, better people, more quality people will come into that sphere of government. Because now, local government is just like a reward system within the political party. But we shouldn't do that. Now that they are going to have increased funding, then it is important for them to do things for the people. And then we must make sure that they're on their toes, so that those who do not do what they are supposed to do or use the money for something else will pay for what they have done. And if we do that, we will have a better local government. Because, like you said, a lot of things that they are supposed to do, they're not doing it. You will go to a street, you will see basic things that they can do. And it will not be done. Something maybe just to
primary
just
health
something.
care should be their responsibility. Primary health care.
Yeah, it's their responsibility, yes.
And,
all of them has health centers.
Yes. And
they can do more.
Payment of primary school teachers, salaries and all that. All those little potholes that we see within our localities. These are things that they should be able
by the local government.
Now. Yes, now you can't leave everything
in the hand of the state.
Yes.
Well, so much of a discussion we've had on today's edition of the program, Journalist Hangout. I'd like to thank my guests, as usual, in the studio, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, and of course, Mayor Akinpelu. We appreciate your insights on the show this evening. And that's it on the program. Join us again tomorrow for another edition. You can also watch a repeat broadcast of the show tonight at 11. Join us again on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Esther Mapariola. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.